I found model sheets for the old Alvin and the Chipmunks show from the early 60s. So let's see if we can draw Alvin. Break him down into basic shapes and let's have a go. So it looks to me like you could start him with something like this. For his head. And then build his body something like this. And bow it out a bit like that. And back here. And it's not a long body because he's supposed to be a kid, right? And make his shoes like that. And just keep it light and rough. You don't have to bear down on your pencil when you're doing this stage. And he's got this collar like that. And then his arm. I was going to have it go up, but the drawing has his arm just go straight across like this. His actual arm would be here, so his sleeves would be like here. And then let's just do a mitten for the hand. And then it goes back this way for his other hand. And a mitten like that. Divide the face like that. Rough placement for the ear. And guideline for the eyes, the nose. And you could start with the eyes, this, and that. And then a line goes across for his muzzle. And comes down like that. Little tongue in there. So when you do this side of the face, it comes down, it goes out for his cheek, and then comes back in and down into his shirt like that. And then you can bring his tunic like this. So like I said, this is the old-fashioned Alvin from 1960 when the show was first starting on TV. I don't know if the show was network, if it was syndicated back then. Looks like I didn't get his head quite right. Like it should be like this, and then come down. Looks like there's kind of a pointiness to his ear. And we see an eyebrow. So then he has these sprigs of hair that come out. There's one close to his eye that goes up like this and back, and then another one that goes here. It comes down like that. And another one up top, and that's going to go right here to the back of his head, if we could see his head, but we have to do his hat coming up like this, with that brim. Down like that. And then the top of the cap, kind of like that. So now that we've got all that roughed in, we can go back in and start putting in some of the details. One, two, three. And then we can add his nose right on top like this. And he's got a triangle-shaped nose, rounded triangle, kind of like that. And he's got chipmunk teeth here. And then colored inside the mouth like that. And then the shoes get colored in like this. So that's more or less Alvin. And then we have to put the A on there. There we go. And if you want to see some of these shows, most of them are on YouTube. Just type in Alvin and the Chipmunks 1960 and you'll come up with the original show, which was done by a studio called Format Films, who also did this really great rendition of the Lone Ranger cartoon and animation in the late 60s. Very different looking cartoon there. I think a guy named Herb Klin used to run Format. I think that was his name. Not to be confused with Herb Stott, who ran Spung Buggy Animation Studio in Hollywood at La Cienega and Sunset. I did a couple of jobs for them long time ago. So yeah, Format Films, one of the great studios here in LA, long time ago. Look up Alvin and the Chipmunks 1960 or Lone Ranger format films. I think that show is 68 or so. So try your hand at it. Get yourself a Alvin model sheet you can download from the internet. This pencil, this mechanical pencil I use is called a Graph Gear 1000, and it's made by Pentel. And this is a 0.9, which I like. I like the 0.9s because they're thicker and they hold up to my heavy pressure when I'm drawing. So we'll see you next time. Try your hand at drawing Alvin.